Hi guys, what's up? It's Joe here, back with another video, and in this video it'll be for Love Island All Stars 2026 Series 3 Episode 28. I'll leave a link down below to Episode 27. Of course, it's going to be spoilers. So without further ado, let's get on with it. So at the start we had Scott, Carrington and Yeaman talking, and Scott was talking of like the chat he had with Whitney. Zach and Millie spoke. She was saying, you know, she's a bit jealous of Zach speaking to Jessie and feels like they might have a better connection, and she doesn't want to lose the thing that she's got with Zach. Lucinda then pulled Belle, and then Belle was like asking, oh, am I in trouble? But I don't think she was. She just wanted to like chat. Sean and Leanne like saw them as well. Lucinda accidentally said Liel instead of Leanne. They were arguing, like Belle walked off. Lucinda overheard like Sammy speaking about her as well and wasn't impressed. Belle then went outside for a breather. In bed, Kieran and Sammy kissed, Zach and Millie kissed, Helena and Carrington kissed, Yeaman had his arm behind Whitney, Lucinda and Sean kissed. Lucinda was asking if Belle was okay, like she was like in a hood and whatever, and then Sammy was just like, read the room, you know, like don't bother. And then Tommy just said, you know, leave. Leanne and Scott went to the secret garden. They hugged and kissed, and they're sort of back on track, I think, now. Belle was a bit mad at Scott. Basically he's thinking with his head and not his heart. Then they told the others about what was going on, you know, they're back together technically. Scott then pulled Belle, told with Leanne, and then she was like, yeah, I already know, you know, you were kissing in bed. But he still wants to be friends, but she was just like, I don't think the trust is there. So I don't know if they're going to be friends anymore. Belle and Helena spoke. Leanne wanted to speak to Belle. Tommy and Jessie spoke. He said he was buzzing when she walked in. You know, he's going to get his grafting boots on. And he also asked what her order is for the morning. So that just shows you, you know, he's going to put the effort to make her a drink in the morning. So an iced caramel latte she likes. Harrison then pulled Belle. Scott said, well, Harrison, I think said he wants to put like a smile back on Belle's face, I think. Belle mimicked Harrison, basically saying, I do like it, or whatever. It's got a bit of a twang, she was saying. Jessie and Zach spoke. Millie's thinking like Zach's ignoring her. But, you know, she was speaking to Whitney and Sammy. Then Scott and Leanne spoke. Zach and Millie spoke, basically saying, you know, I'm not going to kiss I'm not going to kiss Jessie or, you know, only kiss Millie. But, you know, Millie really likes it when she hasn't felt like this for a while. But if he ends up kissing Jessie, like, that's game over, you know. You've lost Millie. Leanne and Belle spoke. Harrison and Cher spoke. Yeaman, you know, like, from a distance said it looks like a date. Tommy and Jack spoke, basically, about Cher. Then Sean joined Tommy and Jack. Jack then pulled Cher for a chat. Sammy and Kieran spoke, and they're officially closed off now. Scott pulled Belle. Belle told like Sammy of like the chat with Scott. I don't think it was good. Scott and Leanne spoke. Sammy and Kieran told the others of being closed off. In bed, Scott kissed Leanne before he went to bed in the dark. And then she was like, what's going on here? Who's this? Zach and Millie kissed. Whitney and Yeaman kissed. Sean and Lucinda kissed. Helena and Carrington kissed. And then Kieran and Sammy kissed. On the app, well, the first look from, well, the other day, which was for this. Hypocrisy is exposed and friendships implode. Lucinda confronts Belle about how she was treated when getting to know Sean. And it causes chaos to erupt between the girls. How excited are you for tonight's episode? 44% said highlight of my day. 36% said let the drama begin. 13% said my jaw was on the floor from that first look. And 7% said the group chat's going to be popping off tonight. How do you deal with jealousy in early stages of dating? 55% said jealousy just means you like them. 25% said if they give me a reason to be jealous, I'm gone. 12% said, I don't care enough to get jealous. And 8% said, if they even say they have a celeb crush, I hate it. Which phrase did Sean not say about Lucinda while she was confronting Belle? So he said, Cindy's a boss and I fancy her so much right now, but he didn't say that's my queen. Sammy called Lucinda the magnifier. I don't know if it was in the dressing room or something. Lucinda eavesdropping had me creasing, and then there's some memes again. So it's basically she's like creeping, and so me happy birthday in my way into my ex DMs. Then we have when it's out of hours and you see someone else on the same Google Doc as you. Me peering round the living room door at 11:59 on Christmas Eve, trying to catch Santa. That one guy from 10 years ago ready to react to your Instagram story. When I'm hiding behind a cupboard door ready to do a jump scare. My Bitmoji when I attempt to half swipe on a Snapchat. And then me anytime there's drama. Literally, it's the same with like I'm gonna get pie tonight. It's been a meme for Lucinda, literally. Lucinda calls Belle out for a double standard and a huge row erupts. Shout out to my friend who had to subtitle this. There's a video, huge argument erupts between the girls. It's given who's Emma? This one's for you, Liel, whoever you are. No girl is sticking up for Liel in here. And then Belle's like, who the F is Liel? Because it was Nicole in Kieran's series who was like, who's Emma? And it became like big. Finished Leanne's sentence, I want you home, dinner's on the table. Scott calls time on his triangle with Belle and Leanne. Scott makes up his mind between Leanne and Belle, there's a video on that. How important is a test in the early stages of dating? Well, 49% said no way do I need a test. 29% said test makes the connection stronger, and then 22% said need a test to know how I feel about them. She raised his heart rate, but can Jesse turn Zach's head from Millie? Getting upset about a threat to your couple, there's a video on that. Millie, as a little article, I will be really upset if he has a better connection with Jesse. I think what me and Zach have is really, really good, and it will be a shame if that's broken. One thing about Tommy, he's going to have his boys back. You don't deserve to sit back and watch the girl you like always with other boys. I want someone that wants me as much as I want them. Where's Harrison's head at? Well, 28% said Belle, 4% Helena, 2% Jesse, 1% Leanne, 1% Lucinda, and 0% for Millie and Sammy. Then we had 64% Cher and 0% Whitney. And then which boy is Cher feeling most? 2% Carrington, 1% Kieran, 75% Harrison. That's massive. 17% Jack, 4% Scott, 0% Sean, 1% Tommy, 0% Yaman, and 1% Zach. Kieran and Sammy are closed off. There's a video, photo on that. Not the savage block in like quotations. Give it a few months. He'll leave her and then go, it should have been you. And do you know what he'll get? Red block. Justice for Liel, tap for Amy, India and Georgia's thoughts on last night's drama. And then first look for the next episode that I'm going to do. First look, a shady recoupling speech puts heat on Lucinda. Belle is left baffled after Lucinda makes a dig during her recoupling speech. And Jesse claps back by questioning Lucinda's character. But anyway, that is all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it and I will see you in the next one.